Today we are going to speak about how to save your troops. Now, before we start, let me tell you what this video will be about. This video is not going to tell you how to save your millions and millions of troops if you have those kind of troops. This video will also not tell you how to save your troops during war. This video is only meant to tell you how to save your limited amount of troops if somebody suddenly attacks you or if you don't have a shield. When I say limited amount of troops, what exactly do I mean? I will tell you precisely what I mean. What I mean by limited amount of troops is your army limit. Alright, for example, let's click here, and if you go across to your grade or rather level of your castle, you will realize you have got this army limit. Okay, you see this army limit, and it also tells you the army size. For the sake of simplicity, let us take castle 20. Okay, castle 20 has got 4 army limit. That means at a time it can utilize or send out 4 armies, 4 number of armies, and each army can be a maximum of 100k, that is 100,000 or 1 lakh troops. Whatever composition of the troops, they will be 1 lakh or 100k, 100,000 troops. So we are talking about 4 armies and 100k troops of each. Now be careful about this, because you need to understand you can save total army limit plus 1. So if there is, let's say, 4 armies for castle level 20, he can save 5 army worth of troops. That is, in simple terms, he can save 5 lakh or 500k troops, not more than that. So if he has got 4 army limit, then he can save 5 lakh troops for castle level 20, as he has got 1 lakh. Similarly, for the sake of explanation, let's take this castle level 13. It has got 3 army limit and it has got 50 size of that army, that is 50,000 troops of each army maximum. That means he can save 3 plus 1, that is 4 armies. In terms of troops, it will come to 200k. 50 plus 50, 100k, plus 2 more armies, 50. How is that plus 1 possible? I will tell you in a moment. Just remember, you can save these many number of troops, the army limit plus 1. Alright. Now I will be talking in terms of marches or the army limit. It's one and the same thing for this particular video. Whole army goes into this shelter. Okay, one whole army goes into this shelter, which is not counted. For example, if I click here for 12 hours, let's say, and I say okay, I can send one whole army here. Now for my level, castle level 24, it is 160,000, that is 1,60,000. Plus over and above this, I have got that familiar boost. I will explain it that in a moment. And the hero limit, hero command. See this hero also has got a command of X number of troops. So that hero command plus that familiar is going to give me some more extra troops that I can push into the shelter over here. But this is by and large, for the sake of simplicity, this is one army, one whole army that can fit into this shelter. Okay, so you have got one army, and this is not counted. The army limit that we spoke about, 4 that you see here for castle level 20, in our example over here, this limit, this army limit, this is basically for army which go outside the castle. So your shelter is inside the castle, so that is not counted. So that takes care of that extra one army. Okay, now the second army, or rather the first army which goes outside the castle, how do you save that? That you can save by the help of a fake rally. You see this DN5, Okay, now forewarned, there is a disclaimer here. Some people will say do not have a fake rally on a DN. Yes, and that is true because these DNs are attacked at whims and fancies of any other guild who has the capability to attack them. And if the DN is destroyed, your troops come right back to your castle unprotected. Okay, so I'm assuming the troops are unprotected and unshielded, and they come right back to the castle. So if you do this DN rally, understand that there is a risk involved here. Now why still I'm telling you to do a rally on this DN? Because in most of the kingdoms, especially when there are restrictions and the kingdom is a new kingdom, the castles are young castles, relatively weak, they are not able to destroy this level 5 DN. Alright, level 4 or level 5. So always go in for a level 5 DN, and I suggest nothing below level 4, and understand the risk involved. Okay, another thing is if you click on the DN, it will tell you how many more hours or the time to expiry. Ensure that this is lesser than 8 hours. If this is lesser than 8 hours, then your soldiers will not be protected for all of those 8 hours. Ensure that this is lesser than 8 hours. Alright, so that is another point that you need to bear in mind. Okay, now what you need to do is you need to say rally attack 8 hours, and you need to say OK. Here you can push in some of your heroes to increase the amount of soldiers you can push into this rally. Each soldier will have a command. You see 6,000, 6,000. Depending on the level of your soldiers, it will have this command. Now if I'm going to make this level 8, these are all level 7 heroes. Now if I make this level 8 hero, this command will change to 10,000, in which case I can have 50,000 more soldiers. Right now 6,000 each is the command, and I can push this 6,000 more soldiers each for each hero. Alright, so I get my army limit plus this hero limit. So 160 is my army, and 6,000 per soldiers, that is 6 into 5. I'm getting 20,000 more soldiers. So in my case I can save 1,90,000, that is 190,000 soldiers. Alright, so I just, for the sake of this example, I'll just keep this simple. I've got these royal guards, so I will make up this whole of royal guards, or you can kind of just try your permutation and combination, whichever one you want, and then you say deploy. Let's say deploy. Okay, so now our rally has been made. This is a fake rally. Everybody in the guild knows that. Usually you see this is for 8 hours, and this is on a level 5 dark nest. Alright, so people know this is a fake rally, and this is for 8 hours. I am saving these amount of troops. These amount of troops are safe now. I have a shield, but for the sake of this video, just say let's assume that my shield goes down and I'm unprotected. So the troops in the shelter that we just put at the beginning of the video, and these troops which are in a fake rally, they are protected for the amount of time of the fake rally and in shelter for 12 hours that we selected. So even if I am attacked, all my other troops may die off, but these troops will be protected. Nothing will happen to these troops. Alright, so these two methods, that is the shelter and the fake rally, are directly in your control. This is what you can directly influence, and this is guaranteed to be safe as long as you understand the risks involved, especially for the DN rally. Alright, another way you can save your troops, but it will be not in your control completely, is sending your troops as garrison or reinforcement to your friends. Alright, see, for example, this is my guildmate. He is in a shield. So let's just say I want to send reinforcement. So I click on reinforcement and it will allow me to send reinforcements. Maximum amount of reinforcement this guildmate can take is 1 million. So I just can say reinforce, and it will ask me what kind of soldiers you want to send. So I can send these many number of soldiers whichever I want, and I say deploy. Once they go into his shield here, okay, once see these are these troops that are coming into his account over here, they are all his gathering troops which have returned. Similarly, my troops will walk into his shield, and once they are in his shield, inside his shield, they are safe as long as the shield is activated or the status quo of the shield remains the same. If he renews his shield, but be warned, your troops will return. Any change in the status quo of his shield will make your troops return. So you can send a garrison and a reinforcement. You can see this, send a garrison and reinforcement. So you can send both of them, and both of them can be your full armies. I am not counting heroes. The heroes will depend on the level of your heroes. You can send 5 heroes. Whatever is the level of your heroes, you will get the advantage in number of their command, that is increase in number of troops. So you can send 2 more armies outside like that. But for that you will have to have his your guildmates I wouldn't say permission, but his buy-in, because he will be conscious of his shield. If he wants to go somewhere and attack on random basis, or if his shield is expiring and he does not want to put up a new shield, your troops are going to return. And God forbid, if you are not online at that time and somebody attacks you, well, you're going to have some losses and red deads. Hopefully not. So just bear this in mind. So there we go. 4 methods for troops going outside. One is garrison, one is reinforcement, one is your fake rally on a DN, alright, and another is the shelter. These are the 5 ways you can save your troops. There is another way that you can save your troops, but I would say that is A, not recommended, B, that is unreliable, and C, that will not save your troops for whole of 8 hours also, maybe at the most for maybe 4 or 5 hours, and that is usually practiced, or I would recommend that to castle 16, 17 or maybe even 18 who do not have a 8-hour shield at hand, but they also obviously do not want to lose troops. So what I suggest for them is, when all of these methods, that is shelter, when you put your troops in shelter, when you have had a full fake rally, when you have sent your garrisons and reinforcements to your friends, and even after that, if you have some more troops left over which you want to keep safe, obviously we all want to keep our troops safe, what you can do is you can go across on a distant resource tile. Just let's see how we can do that. Okay, assuming it's somewhere here. Okay, now you can see this is around 324 miles. MI is miles, maybe, I think it is miles, some people say it is meters. Anyway, so this is 360. I would recommend something closer to 400, around about 400, 350, anything above 350 or 400. So you see, let's assume it is this tile over here. Okay, and I say I want to send all of these troops for gathering. Okay, let us say I am sending a full march for gathering troops. Alright, 163,000. So let's say deploy. Okay, now you see this, arrive in 25 minutes. I have increased the speed a little bit here. Maybe some other people may not have 25 minutes. This will vary, but let's assume this is for 30 minutes for the sake of this video, plus minus depending on your level of research. So if this is for let's say 30 minutes, what we are looking at is 30 minutes for going, 30 minutes for coming back, that is 1 hour, and time on tile. All right, so when they are on this tile like this, for example, there is this another fellow who is doing some gathering over here on this tile. This is from DE-guild. This is his name over here. So when this gentleman is doing gathering, you see he is placed on this tile and he is stopped there. So for this particular tile, usually it will take around about anywhere from 2.5 hours to 3.5 hours, depending upon the level of your research, how many troops you send, the tier of your troops, maybe tier 1, tier 2, T1, T2, 3, T3. So let's assume it is for 3 hours for the sake of this video. So 3 hours on tile, 1 hour going and coming, 4 hours your troops are relatively safe. Out of that 1 hour, they are 100% safe when they are moving, and 3 hours if nobody attacks the tile, usually they don't, then by and large your troops are safe. This is how you can keep your extra troops safe, and use this as per your own discretion, at your own discretion. I have just told you how this may work, so maybe it will help someone and they can keep some of their extra troops safe. I suggest you use this at your own discretion. So that is how you can save your troops, and in case you have any specific queries, you can get back to me and I shall let you know to the best of my ability. Thank you.